Boner to Boner on iHeartRadio today, also AM, FM, 247.com, tune in, iTunes, and you can find us each and every day over there at JiggyJaguar.com, and I've got all sorts of craziness going on. And we have got a great guest with us today. Go ahead and introduce yourself, my friend. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I am Mzy Bender. I am a swingers lifestyle, adult lifestyle influencer, advocate, educator, businesswoman, all sorts, everything in between. So I could talk about everything and anything.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So, Mizzy, how long have you been in the swinger lifestyle?
So it's been 5 years now. Just actually, I guess it's now like 5.5 years. So a short journey, but it feels long. I have accomplished so much and learned so much, and the journey's been quite crazy. So I feel like I've been it my whole life, but only 5 years.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what got you in to this?
Everybody loves this. So my aunt took me to a swingers meet and greet. It turns out
awesome.
that it was her friend, and he hosts these events and stuff, but she didn't tell me that that is where we were going. I was married at the time and had a very complicated situation. So she's like, oh, we're going to go out. We're going to go over to the beach and go to a party and have fun. So she's like, just get dressed. I'm going to pick you up and we're going to go. So I was super corporate at the time, wearing this fucking pencil skirt and button up. And she takes me to this crowd of individuals that are half dressed and, getting ready to go over to the beach. And so the whole entire experience from start to finish that night was just absolutely silly, but changed my life, honestly, because I met my partner that night. My aunt's friend and I ended up somehow hitting it off. Really, it was tremendous, and we didn't even really speak to one another. And from that, kind of just changed my whole journey in life, and really took me for a swirl.
That's awesome. We have got a great guest with us today. She joins us live here on our big broadcast. Mzy Bender is with us. You can find her on the Twitter machine at Mzy Bender. MIZZYBENDER if you are listening to us on Skyhawk, AfterTalkRadio.com, and of course iHeartRadio. And Mizzy is tremendous. You can get more information at our website, MizzyBender.com. So, Mizzy, you do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your Swingers podcast.
Yes.
The Mzy Bender Show. Talk to us a little bit about this.
I love this. So everything in my swingers world has been an organic growth on its own, and hasn't been anything that I ever woke up and thought I was going to do. So the podcast came about because during COVID, we had shut down our events part of the business. And it was really clear that we still needed to stay connected with our community in some sort of way. So we ended up canceling our event because, the world was shutting down, but we went and we did a Facebook Live. And the Facebook Live was super empowering and very impactful because although we set it up as a party night, I think that the humans out there were kind of struggling a little bit, and they needed a place to kind of congregate and talk and have fun, but also let loose and be able to speak their mind a little bit about what was going on in the world around them. And so with that one night, we received so much feedback about how thankful that, whomever the individual was, that we were able to provide that platform for them. So that really touched my heart. And I ended up waking up the next day, and I sat on Facebook for like 10 hours and talked to so many people and just let them talk and just gave them a place to go. And because of that, Mornings with Mizzy / the Mzy Bender Show was established. And it just kind of was this thing that created and took off on its own. And it's really been a community effort and one of the most beautiful things that I've accomplished.
That is awesome. It is Mzy Bender She joins us today here in our big broadcast. You can find her on the Twitter machine at Mzy Bender. And, of course, she joins us this week here on SkyhawkAfterDarkRadio.com. And, of course, I didn't do this at the beginning, so I guess we'll do this now. SkyhawkAfterDarkRadio.com. And you can join us each and every week over there, Fridays at 12 p.m. Pacific. And then you can join us Saturdays. Now, here is where it gets complicated. On the schedule page, it is Saturdays at 8 a.m. Pacific. However, on our bio page, it says Saturdays at 8 p.m. Pacific. So I just tell everybody at 8 o'clock in the Pacific time zone on Saturday, tune in. We will probably be there. Mzy Bender with us today. She is fantastic. She is, a little bit of everything. She is, I guess, I don't. Looking at you on Twitter and some of your photos, you are quite the little perv magnet, I'll have to say. And Mizzy joins us today here in a broadcast. MizzyBender.com is her official website. So what has been the reaction to your Swingers podcast, The Mzy Bender Show?
It's been really lovely. I think that a lot of newbies find a lot of comfort and a lot of education from it because they don't know where to start. Nobody knows where to start when you're just fresh new at something. So my podcast takes them on a journey of my journey within the lifestyle, but then also I have guest spots that explain their journey, and then I have educators, and it's all kind of a mix of everything. So you kind of get a good flow and a good idea, insight as to what events are like, just different kinds of piece of information you should think about, how you should approach swinger events, what goes on at a swingers party, because there's so much out there that's misinterpreted. And, people have all these ideas about what goes on, but in reality, it's not a huge orgy. It's a really great place to just go and party and be super sexy and have fun. And so this podcast kind of maps all that out for you and gives you a really realistic viewpoint of what our lifestyle is like.
That is awesome. It is Mzy Bender. She's with us today here on our big program, and she joins us here talking a little bit about swinging and just, little bit of everything. What is some of the most common questions that you get from people who are new to the whole swinger lifestyle?
Well, the biggest question I would say is from men asking me, how do I get my wife to do this? And you can't.
Of course, because all guys are fucking pervs.
Exactly.
That's just how it is.
They all want it. And it's such a sensitive subject, right? Because men are just naturally so sexual and more in tune with it. And women are a little bit more ashamed of their sexuality. So maybe they're not so straightforward with it. So it's kind of like a very delicate subject. And so number one, you can't force anybody or convince anybody to do something that they don't want to do. Yeah. And if you push the subject far enough and hard enough where your partner eventually agrees, that's just going to end in resentment and a very poor experience and the pretty much stigma of what you should not be doing in the swingers world. Yeah. And so that would be my primary thing there. And then also, if you're single, you're able to participate in this lifestyle single if you want to.
Yeah, there are a lot of I've noticed just in the swinger lifestyle here in Kansas, there are a hell of a lot of single dudes that are getting in to swinging. Do they? I've often wondered if they are doing it because they just want to get laid, or if they're actually doing it because they want to be in the swinger lifestyle.
I think most of them is because they just want to be laid. I don't think that they understand what the situation is. Prime example so I do live education series on SDC.com. It's a swingers platform or whatever. Yeah. And anytime I'm on there, the guys will flow through, and I'm dressed, and I'm doing an education piece, and they'll be like, okay, so when are you going to show us your boobs? When are you getting naked? When are you doing this?
When
And I'm
are
like,
you
what an
getting
effort.
naked? God
Yeah, and I'm
damn
like,
it.
dude, like, do you not see what's happening in this conversation piece, like, at all? Like, this is not the time or place for it. And so I think that there's something missing in their
Damn it.
brain, and they don't realize that it's not just like a pool of vaginas that you just to go out and just put the Pepe in. It's not like that. So there's a huge misinterpretation, fellas. So yeah, it's not. Yeah, they have a misinterpretation.
They do. They do. It is Mzy Bender. She's with us today here on our big program. And she has the Swingers podcast. It is called the Mzy Bender Show. And you can get more information, MZYBender.com. So another thing that you do is you have like a boutique. You have Mizzy's
Yeah.
Boutique, which, by the way, if you're watching us on Clout Hub, BitChute, Rumble, or the YouTube, or any of the other places, Missy's
They're everywhere.
Missy's Boutique. She has got this cool ass sign behind her here on the video. She is great. Talk to us about Mizzy's Boutique.
Oh my God. So that was another fascinating thing that came about for me. So as I mentioned early on, when I first met my partner, I was super corporate. So I supported a multi-billion-dollar international company, was the executive assistant to our CEO, CFO, President of North America, down into marketing, sales. I mean, you name it, I pretty much touched it, unless it was part of manufacturing. That wasn't my territory, but pretty much everything else was. So when I met my partner, organically, the universe just lined everything up for me. My company was also going through a transition where they were moving their corporate headquarters off of Long Island, and they were going to a different state. So I had the opportunity at that point in time to either go with them or not. And of course, I wasn't relocating or anything. So I ended up getting severance, and they gave me 6 months severance, which was really unusual. So I ended up, my severance was over, and I had to kind of make that decision on whether or not I was going to go to unemployment, look for a job, like what I was going to do. My partner wanted me to work on Mindbender Parties full time. And I was like, well, listen, my brain capacity of what my workload needs to be is intense. Like, if you understand what my environment was and coming into this, like, I need a lot to keep busy. So I ended up making the decision to stick with just doing Mindbender Parties. And when it was time to go to unemployment, I kind of felt selfish because I was like, I already made a decision that I'm going to do the parties and I'm going to do this as our business. And I got the 6 month severance, which was unusual. I just didn't want to feel like I was being greedy or anything of the sorts. So I ended up, my partner convinced me to go. And he's like, just go check it out. Maybe they'll offer something great and you check it out. And they did. They said to me, because of my work qualifications, I am able to apply for it's called the SEEP program. It's a New York State funded program that allows you to open up a business, and they'll extend your unemployment for 16 weeks for you to be able to do so. They don't pay you to do everything that you need to do to open up a business, and the requirements are deep. Like, you have to do your marketing plan, business plan, everything and submit things to them weekly. So I was like, oh, well, that makes me feel so much better about receiving money from the state to do something. So at the time, I did some consumer research within the swingers world, and there really wasn't much swag out there. And the upside down pineapple was really becoming popular. So I was like, F it. I'm going to put some swag together for Mindbender Parties, and I'm going to put some pineapple swag together. And I positioned it to New York State as a woman-owned business in a very alternative lifestyle, and was accepted into the program. So that's how Mizzy's Boutique was formed, and why we sit here today with it.
That is awesome. That is awesome. We have got a great guest with us today. Mzy Bender is with us. She joins us live here on our big broadcast, and you can find her on Twitter at Mzy Bender. She has also got Mizzy's Boutique, which is available on Twitter as well, Mizzy's Boutique, or you can get more information at the website, Mizzy'sBoutique.com. Mizzy.com. And she is having a Black Friday sale. The coupon code is Black Friday 23, all one word. You can get 40% off over there at Mizzy'sBoutique.com. It is a fantastic website. So talk to me about some of the different things that people can get over there at Mizzy'sBoutique.com.
So you have like a lot of sassy attire, really funny shirts. I originally started out as swinger merchandise, but it's now grown into just regular adult merchandise. So I have a lot of foxtail butt plugs up there right now, which are super beautiful.
That is awesome.
They are real foxtail, and they're very unique because the foxtail actually is an interchangeable plug, so you get to keep your tail forever, and you just upgrade your plug when your bum gets a little bit, needing some more.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it's really lovely. So those are one of the pieces. I actually am going to be putting up some glass dildos in the next day or two, so if you wanted to check those ones out. We also have some funny stuff. They're like wine sets, but they're naughty wine sets, like the penises or the corkscrews and, just like funny stuff. And then some upside down pineapple glow cups and different things for the swingers lifestyle. But yeah, pretty much a little bit of everything you can find there.
That is awesome. It is Mzy Bender. She joins us today here on our big broadcast. She is absolutely amazing, and you can get more information, Mzy Bender, on Twitter. The Twitter machine, Mzy Bender. She is great. She, like I said, if you're watching us on video, she is quite the little perv magnet. She is definitely fantastic. So tell me about these swinger parties. You do Mindbender Parties. Tell me a little bit about these.
Oh, they're so amazing. So it is a world where it's all inclusive, our events. So whether you're on the swing side or the king side, you'll be able to find a little bit of everything. We have a full dance floor that includes 1 or 2 stripper poles, depending on what the setup is. We have a shadow box, and then we have a full dungeon that you can go and play in. And then we have a back room that has 3 private play spaces and 1 open play space that has a few beds in it. So you can pretty much pick your poison anywhere in the club. There's a full bar, so if you wanted to drink, you could go over there. We always have Mizzy's Boutique set up as a vendor, so you could always shop for your naughty goods while, you're at the event itself. So we try and provide everything that you would need on site to have a complete evening. And it's the best.
That is awesome. So how do your parties differ from some of the other parties that are out there that swinger people throw?
I would say that we really are a full production. It's not very often that you go to a venue and they completely change over the venue and make it completely thematic to what's going on. You might have a little bit of that and definitely a push within the attire and what you're wearing and stuff like that to make the theme come to life. But we travel with a 20-foot trailer. We can set up shop and
holy smokes.
We can build any kind of event that you want, and we pride ourselves in that. And so that is definitely how I would say that we are different, because not many people have the capabilities to be able to do what we do.
Wow. So what was the idea behind getting the 20-foot trailer and everything?
So, well, that was my partner before I met him. So his journey started way back when. It started out as raves, and as time has gone on, he kind of morphed from like rave into the swinger, and however he built his business, he has, even the sound system and everything like that, between the speakers, and I don't even actually know what all that stuff is called, but I know we carry these huge ass boxes.
Oh yeah. If you got a 20-foot goddamn trailer, you've got some gear, babe. Good Lord.
Yeah. So we need the space.
That is amazing. We have got Mzy Bender.
Branded.
She is fantastic. She's doing a little bit of everything. She's got the boutique. She's got the swinger parties. She's got the radio show. She's got a little bit of everything. So you've got, all this stuff that you do. How often do you throw your events?
Oh, so we just upped it this coming year, but we were pretty much like on a like 8 week schedule. Now I think that we're between 6 to 7 weeks between travel. But when we're not hosting our events, we also support Fusion Parties. They're up in New Hampshire, so we go to their events, and they host almost on the off months of our months. So we're either up there. We were traveling with the boutique to Pennsylvania quarterly, but we are not doing that anymore. So the schedule will change. But that's what this calendar looked like this past year. We don't ever have really downtime.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, we're professional partiers.
That is fantastic. We have got Mzy Bender with us today. You can find her on Twitter at Mzy Bender. So is Mzy Bender like your swinger gimmick? Because I noticed that there's a lot of these, for whatever reason, in the swinger community. There's all these people. They have swinger gimmicks. You know, and I always just call people by their, God-given Christian name, as Jim Cornette would say. And a lot of times, I will get corrected. And I'll be like, oh, LaToya. They're like, no, you mean fire. And I'm like, yeah, LaToya. That's her fucking name. And there is a guy here locally. His name is Castano. He's like a big swinger guy in Chicago and in Kansas, of all places. But he used to be a chef. And so he goes by Chef. And so there'll be all these people that I'll talk to, and I'll be like, oh, yeah, I talked to Castano the other day. I'll be like, you mean Chef? And I'm like, no, it's Castano. That's how I know the fucking guy. So is Mzy Bender like your swinger gimmick, or is like your parents went, yeah, we're going to name her Mizzy?
No, well, so it's kind of like an assortment of different things.
That's awesome.
It is definitely my stage swinger name.
Okay.
And there's a reason behind it. Sometimes the swinger world can be a little bit cruel, and I'm sure
yes,
just like any other
very
world.
much so.
Yeah, and through my personal journey and, kind of things that were going on, I was outed to my family, and it was on a really explosive level, and it was very detrimental, and I was actually really afraid that my work was going to find out on a higher level different things too, just because of the way everything was kind of like unraveling. I was very nervous. So I ducked out of social media for a while. And when it was time for me to come back, I didn't create the name. Actually, my partner created it. He's like, just come back as this, because, it is very close to what my name could be. And over time, my stepdad had given me my own name or whatever, nickname or whatever. So they kind of all like morphed into different things, and it is created as a marketing scheme to all be the M's and B's and all flow together the right way and everything. Yeah. So from a marketing standpoint, it's brilliant.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It is Mzy Bender. She's with us today here on our big broadcast, and she joins us live talking a little bit about all of her various interests and businesses, and I am just amazed by everything that you are doing. Just absolutely amazing. She does Mindbender Parties. She does the Mizzy's Boutique, which is the adult shopping. She has a fabulous podcast called the Mzy Bender Show. She's got an incredible website, MzzyBender.com. And just amazing.
And I do all that myself. I manage all my own websites. I create all my own websites, all built by my own self.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, are your websites in WordPress, or are they Drupal?
They are Wix.
Oh, okay. I was waiting for you to say, oh, I do everything by hand, HTML.
No, I'm not coding, sir. I'm not coding, okay? That'd be way too far. If I was able to code, I would say, you go, girl, because that is brilliant.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So when you do these swinger events, what is the process of getting that put together? Because it looks like, just from what you've told me and just from the stuff that you've got on the Twitter and the websites and things, this is a fucking production. This isn't just some jackass getting a hotel and inviting a whole bunch of people to a hotel party. What is what is the whole production process like to put this together?
So, and we actually don't live in the same state that we host in. So we're on Long Island and we host in Rhode Island. So we leave on a Friday night and it's about an hour to the ferry, an hour and 20 on the ferry, and then about 40 minutes to the actual location where we do our setup. And we usually get in like later Friday night. The team starts to gather. We have about maybe like 6 other people that meet us over there and, you know, help throughout the entire weekend. So we end up getting to the club on Saturday morning around 10:30 a.m. for an event that starts at 9 p.m. So we get there at 10:30 and we just start unloading the trailer. At this point in time, we're kind of like a well-oiled machine and we all have our parts where we know exactly who's responsible for what. So I usually go in and set up the boutique while first off, the first thing that gets set up is my boutique tent. Once the boutique tent is set up, then I'm able to kind of just do whatever it is that I need to do for that. And then somebody's setting up the dungeon, somebody's setting up the play space. And then my partner, Spencer, is kind of managing all the technology stuff and doing all the wiring. And I don't even know what he does with lighting and stuff. But we kind of just, you know, veer off. We smoke a lot of pot while it's going on and just fucking chill and, you know, blast the music. It's honestly my most favorite time of the weekend is that point in time because it's just so chill and we're just doing what we genuinely love, you know, and it's cool.
So, do you get a chance to go to any of these Exoticas or AVNs or any of these fucking things?
We go to Exotica every year.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, so we just went
to New Jersey.
Yes.
You were out there in New Jersey of all places.
That's right. New Jersey is right.
So, do you have a booth at Exotica, or are you just walking around marketing? Well,
We just walk around and market. We do have a few business partners that we go and visit there, so we make sure that we go and we stop in with them. But I personally feel like, you know, be your own billboard and walk around. It's great to be stationary, but with what we do, listen, I know that I look real basic right now. I sure as shit will tell you I am not basic when I go out. And so for me, it's different. You know, I'm usually wearing some sort of ridiculous colored hair and I got gems on my face. And I'm like, you know, who knows what the fuck is going on with the outfit, but it is certainly loud and in charge in some sort of way. So for me to be able to walk around and stop and chat with people, take pictures, do different things like that, that works better for my business and for what I'm trying to do there. Instead of staying stationary and having people come to me, I'd rather just walk.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Mzy Bender with us today. She joins us live here on our big broadcast. What I think how I got wind of you was through Lorenzo.
Yes.
What do you think about this guy? I literally could listen to Lorenzo read the goddamn phone book.
Right?
He is.
I know.
He is amazing.
And he's such a great guy, you know, on top of his sensual voice.
Yes.
He's such an incredible individual. He mentors me a lot and is always trying to keep me on path, and he kind of checks me when I need a little bit of confidence, I'll tell you. You know, he's really good for that. He's really good in those moments when you just need a little pick-me-up for him to remind you of, like, you're on track, you're doing the right thing. Like, just stay focused, stay on path. That's awesome. He and I have a really special relationship.
We have got the fantastic Mzy Bender with us today. She joins us live here on our big program, and the Mzy Bender Show is available all over the damn place. She is just a fascinating individual, And you can get more information on Mizzy's boutique and also her Mindbender events. And so, what do you guys have planned for like the new year, January, February?
Well, we ring in the new year with a sexy penthouse party in New Hampshire, which is going to be fabulous. And then we actually changed our schedule. Normally, we would start our events at the end of February. This year, our first event is January 27th, and so we start rather early. So there's not much downtime. It's going to be pretty much getting back to the hustle and bustle once the new year is over and getting, right straight to marketing and getting things out there. So it will be a small shift from what I'm used to, but I'm certainly really excited for 2024. I feel like the past couple of years, and I'm sure you can relate in some sort of way when you're like constantly building and learning and growing, where you have like that aha moment where you're like, oh my God, I get it. And the puzzle pieces are kind of fitting in right now. And not that I'm on, slow and steady, like I don't have to grow and learn anymore, but I do feel like I'm more on that straight path for a second where I'm in a hard execution mode. So it's going to be really exciting 2024 for myself. I feel thrilled.
That is awesome. We have
Yeah.
got a great guest with us today. Mzy Bender joins us here on our big program. And as we wrap up here, Mizzy, run it down for us. How do we get in touch with everything that you're doing and get involved with everything that's going on?
So you can find me on every social media platform under Mzy Bender. And my website, MzzyBender.com, it has a lot of blogs on it. It has some journeys where you could see some photos from past events, definitely different education pieces, some of my morning series, and then also links to my podcast and the boutique and Mindbender Parties. But if you did want the event listing, although my website does have it, Mindbender Parties has the full event listing with all the details. If you wanted to learn more about them and kind of get your brain going a little bit, there's a lot more education specific to swingers within the blogs over there, with a lot of talking points to get your thoughts going on how to talk to your partner and things like that if you're interested in it. So slightly different platforms, but all kind of the same information.
Fantastic. Well, Mizzy, I appreciate you making time for us today. This has definitely been fantastic. I've really enjoyed chatting with you.